Hey guys, Maju up here, and welcome to the fifth video in our 2D platformer Java series. And today we have our level, right? But what if we want a bigger level than just the level that's on our screen? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make the level bigger, and we're going to add in a camera that follows our player. So it's not just we're stuck on this one little screen. All right, it's very simple. First thing we're going to need to do is is this our project? Yeah. Right. We need to take our level, and I'm going to open it back up in GIMP, which is what I use to edit images or whatever you want to use to edit your image. And I'm going to make it bigger. So I'm going to change my canvas size. I'm going to double its size. All layers. Boom. Now we got an even bigger map, and I'm going to make a level real quick. Let's just go like that, just so we can't fall off the map. Make some openings. Here will be an opening, and we'll just make some quick level. I'm not trying to design anything too grandiose here, just something interesting that we can have our player go around for right now. We do that, maybe. Let's see here. I'm gonna fill this in. All right. This is going from Lego. Looks more like a cave than a platform, which is fine. I just want something that have a little gap right there. Our player can move around and there we go. Let's put something. Just gonna put something big right here. That maybe. And we need a way to get up to this platform, so it should be good. You should be able to jump that. And I'll add a little platform right there. Maybe something down here. Because we want you to be able to get up, right? I need that to be open. Yeah, that should... Okay, that should work. Our player should be able to move around this obstacle course very... I want a little platform right here. And yeah, you should be able to go boop, boop up there, right? And this is just going to be an open area. So that looks like a good level. So I'm going to override our level that we currently have. And let's run it. And so now we have a level, and we can fall down. But oh no, we can't. Our level is in the game, but we can't. Our player can go to it, but our camera doesn't follow it, right? So we need to shift our rendering of everything in order to draw a camera. So all a camera's going to do is just hold a location, and then we're going to have to modify the renderer of everything. Sorry about that. And so we're going to make the camera. So let's go to game, make a new class, and I'm going to call it camera. All right. And so our camera is going to have an update, and that's all I really wanted to have for right now. We could add like a renderer, and then if we have a GUI, we could add the rendering for the GUI inside the camera itself, but I'm not really going to do that for right now. We can add it in later if you want, but I'm just going to have an update. And public camera, might as well make constructor. And I'm going to, let's see here. So our game object has our location in it, right? So our camera, I'm going to have it target a game object, and it's going to follow the game object. So our camera is a bit more versatile, and it doesn't just follow the player. You could change it to follow an enemy. So, oh, you got killed, and so the camera goes to the enemy that killed you, or something like that. You know? So I'm going to make a private game object target, and I'm going to initialize our camera with a string called tag, and I'm going to make another private variable and a string target tag. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this tag, right? So like our player, the tag on our player is player, right? So if I create a camera and I set its tag to player, we're going to have it in the update loop as long as the target, right, is equal to null. So let's make sure this is equal to null. We're going to look for our target, and then when we find it, we'll move the camera to follow that target. Okay? So let's do that. So first off, if our target is null, equals null, equals net set. All right, we need to look for our target. We're also going to need the game manager here for our update because we need to know all the game objects. So I'm going to take the game manager and pass it in as an update as well. All right. So our game manager doesn't have a way currently of getting objects from our object list. We have a way of adding objects, but we don't have a way of getting objects. So I'm going to add in a getter. So make a public void get object, and I'm going to have string tag. And so this is going to loop through our array of objects and find an object with this tag. All right. So we're going to for loop away I is less than our objects dot size I plus plus, and we are going to look for the tag. So if objects dot get I dot get tag dot equals tag, we're going to return objects dot get I, but we have a problem here because I made this a void. This isn't a void method. This is a game object. It's a function. So we're going to return object. Now this is going to complain because, well, it needs to have a return no matter what happens. And right now a return only happens if one thing happens, but we need a return if everything for everything. So at the very end we'll return null. So the null will be we didn't find anything. Continue on, right? So let's go back to our camera. I'm going to say target equals null. So target equals gm dot get object target tag. Okay. And then after the fact, if target equals null, we'll just return. So we tried to find the target. It didn't really work. Just return. All right. So if we do find the target, we need to move our camera. But in order to move our camera, we got to know the location of our camera. So I'm going to make a private float offset x, offset y. All right. And our offset x is going to, right now, I'm going to make it equal, like focus dead on to our player. And after that, I'll show you guys how you can make it look fancy, like have it follow the player or have it like lead the player, stuff like that. We'll add that in there as well. So for right now, I'm just going to have it follow the player dead on. So our offset x is going to equal our target get position x, right? But I want the player to be in the middle of the screen, so I'm going to subtract gm.get, not gm, we need the width. So guess what we also need? We also need the game container. Boom. Container. Now there are multiple ways to do this. You could have like your screen size and all that static, and so you wouldn't have to do this. There's a lot of different ways to do it. This is the way that I'm choosing to do it. All right, so that should center it roughly. Target that get position y minus gc that get height divided by 2. The problem is this position right here is the top left corner of our player. But I kind of want it to be from the center. I want the center of the player to be in the center of the screen. So in order to get the center of the player, I have to add half the width to the position x. So that'd be target.get width divided by 2. And the height for the position y. And that will be our camera. So next, all we need is getters and setters for our offset x, not implement methods. Source, getters and setters. I'm going to just select all of them and then set it. So there we go. We got getters and setters for all of our methods. I mean, not methods, variables. And let's add it to our game manager here. So I'm going to scroll up here. We're going to have a this is a little weird. So I usually try to keep this a little bit more organized than that. Let's move some things around. There we go. Static, objects, variables. That's how I like to keep it organized. So private camera camera. And so I'm going to create our camera. So camera equals new camera, and I'm going to set the target for it to be player. So when we update everything, and then we'll update camera. So camera will move to the proper position after everything moves, and we'll have to give it this. Alright. Then what we'll need to do is modify our draw method for everything. Alright. So we have our camera. Now, there is a way we could do this without modifying the draw for everything. And we kind of give up something. We give up the ability to rotate our images. So we don't actually have that functionality in our engine currently. And we could add it. It might be worth adding. So it's debatable whether or not we want to do this. I mean, technically speaking, we could do twice. It's I'm gonna add it in the easy way now, and we'll probably later on add rotating images into our engine. The problem is our pixels our images are so small. It's 16 by 16. When you rotate it, it really distorts what it looks like. So a lot of times it's not very useful, just because it looks bad. But we'll add it in here, and maybe later on we'll add in proper rotation. We'll add in the rotation to our images. So what I'm going to need is I'm going to call it cam X and cam Y into our renderer, and we'll get getters and setters, cam X, cam Y, and all we're going to do is just when we set pixel here, instead of our index here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say X minus equal cam X, Y minus equal cam Y. Right? And nothing's directly modifying our pixels, right? Because that'll mess things up. I don't remember if I did that or not. Everything has to be modified by that, so also our light map has to be modified by our cam X and Y minus equal cam Y. Same thing here for light block, X minus equal cam X, Y minus equal cam Y. Alright, text does not. Anything in here that does, because I don't remember if I left something. Nope, that should be all we have to modify. So I'm going to go back to my camera class, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I'm going to go gm.get, not gm, I want gc.get renderer.set cam X to offset X, and gc.get renderer.set cam Y to off Y. And these have to be integers, so we'll make them integers. And that should give us a camera. Alright, so if we come in, hey look, he's following us around. Look at that little guy. Oh, but we got a problem here. It's not actually properly loading our level here. So let's go back to Game Manager. Alright, so level width and level height. Image, yes. It's not rendering. That's weird. It's not rendering outside of our map. And I wonder what's causing that. The only thing I can think of is our clipping. Our FPS is kind of stuck there. So our clipping might be causing this problem. Let me go check my clipping real quick, because we might have to modify our render just a bit. We're not drawing image tau, not drawing image. We're drawing fill, right? Fill, where's fill at? I think I already got rid of the clipping on fill. Draw light line, draw fill rec. Yeah. This right here is what's causing it. So if I get rid of that, we might have... Yep, there we go. So what we have to do is that causes problems, and there's a lot of ways we can fix it, but which is the best way? I don't know. But, so we have our larger level, and our player is moving around our level, and the player is just stuck dead in the center of our screen. Right? Which is nice. Up. Up, come on. Jump. Nope. There you go. So we have, you know, you have that thing where if you fall, you can jump in midair. Whoop. But yeah, so interesting. This just isn't gonna work. We'd have to modify, instead of modifying it directly in our set pixel, we have to modify it in every other method. We have to do this to our offsets in our I'll keep the clipping. By the way, your clipping might look a little different. When I was doing a debugging earlier, I got rid of some of the clipping from my fill rec that was down here. I got rid of a bit of it. So, I might have to modify this more than me. But, here, I should put that clipping code back. But if I take offset X and minus cam X and offset Y minus cam Y, I think it'll still work. Yeah. We still have our rendering properly, but we have to modify this everywhere. So, a draw image. Yeah, might as well do that. Scroll up, do that one. Draw text as well. And we don't need to change anything in here. Actually, the light one we might have to. Or do we modify it down here? That won't really work very well. Maybe right here. That'll probably be the best place to modify it. So that should hopefully fix it. Now we got a problem of our FPS is being left behind. So in our renderer, game container, we need to go to our draw right here. And what I want to do is I'm going to say renderer.set cam x to 0 and renderer.set cam y to 0. And that should put our FPS back on our screen. What the? Oh, dot set cam y. So that should put. Oh, jeez. Oh my, what's going on? That's interesting. Windows update. Camera, why does that mess up so badly? That shouldn't mess up that badly. Drawing the text. That's weird. Because it'll go back through and it'll call the game.render. Oh, that's because our rendering is updating faster than our update. Okay. We can't put this here. We actually do need a render method in here. So public void render. And I'm just gonna give it the renderer R. And I'm just gonna copy this and paste this here. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Say R. Say R. And import that. Okay. So now if we go back to game manager, our renderer, we need to do camera.render at the very beginning. So now it doesn't do that. And our FPS stays in the top left corner. That was being caused because we were rendering faster than we were updating, and we were only moving the camera when we updated. So every time it would update, but then the renderer would be called multiple times and it would move it around and it was flickering because of that. So yeah, now we got a player moving around our screen. What time is it? We're only 20 minutes into this episode. I think I'm going to cut this episode here. And the next episode we're going to add in a little bit more dynamic camera play, or maybe we should do that right now. Let's do that right now. It's not hard to do. So, instead of just directly setting it, I'll just give you an idea here of one other one. So instead of directly setting it, we have our offset X, But instead of doing that, we can say if offset x, let's see here, so target x will equal this. Like, we want it to equal that. That's our target. And our target y is this right here. All right. And these are integers. We'll make them floats, because they should be floats. So if target x is less than target x, I mean, if offset x is less than target x, offset x plus equals dt times, and I'm going to do offset x divided by target x. I might want to be it the other way around. Well, let's see what effect we get with this, because I want it to kind of depend. It'll move faster the further away it is. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. So we'll change it from x to y, x to y, all the way around, and we'll see what kind of effect this gives us for that. And then we're going to do the same thing, just copy, paste, change it around, and minus. We'll see what effect this gives us. I'm curious. We're not moving anywhere here. That's a good start. So, so this might be like 0. That's what it might be looking at as. So let's just do, we can't just do directly 100. So if we did 100, right, it'll give us, it'll overshoot, undershoot, and you get a little flicker going on here. Look at that. So we're following our player, right? And it's kind of jittery, although I don't know when I do recording it. See how he moves around? We got the camera just following the location, but I don't really want that per se. So how can we make it follow at an exponential rate? So we'll do dt times offset x minus target x. Right? So the more off we are, the faster we go. Oh, that is inverted. This should be subtract, plus, just for right now. And let's get rid of these, because I only want to test one thing right at a time right now. I got multiple running. So if I go to the right, he starts to follow. That needs to be a bit quicker. So we're going to do this times 10 maybe? Let's do 10. See what that looks like. That's not looking bad. Alright, let's do that for all of them and see what kind of effect we get with that. So, boom. We'll make this greater than, so I'm just going to change it. Change this to subtract. Actually, that might work for both directions. It does work for both directions. So we don't actually need two if statements here. So what I'm going to do is just do this. That actually will work for both directions. Alright, so now if we run it, there we go. So now we get a nice little camera following effect, and it speeds up the faster you go. And it looks nicer than if it was like pinpoint, like right on it the whole time. It gives a nicer feel to it. If you want the camera to be slower, you can just modify this variable right here. And now the camera will follow at a slower pace, so the player moves more, and the camera follows at a slower rate, which I think looks pretty nice. Right, and we can still shoot everywhere. All of our collision still works everywhere. So yeah, added a couple 4 more minutes onto the video, but now we got a nice little camera following us around. That's going to do it for this episode. Comment, rate, subscribe, and thanks for watching.